Hello, everyone. Today is a special day for us. Today we're filming our first ever podcast, and not just it's the first podcast. We have a special guest today. It's Josh Fan. He's currently in Almaty, and you have a long list to tell. Please introduce yourself, Josh.
um is I feel like you gotta have a little bit more like energy at the
Me?
start. Yeah.
Okay, okay,
Because right now you're coming out like very
okay.
cough.
Woo!
Yeah, you're gonna come like you gotta be like a little bit more high
Okay.
if it's your first podcast.
Uh,
Ready?
One, two, three, go. Hello, everyone. Today is our first podcast, so it's a special one for us. And not because it's our first podcast, we have a special guest. It's a Josh fan. So you have a long list to introduce you. Please tell people who you are and where you are right now.
For sure. Well, thank you for having me. Thank you for flying me out to Kazakhstan and putting on such a great camp. It's been a wonderful experience, and I've definitely felt the love of the people from Kazakhstan. And you guys have a great city. So, right now, I'm currently in Washington, D.C. That's the capital of the United States. And that's where I have my own company, Awaken Training, where I work with a lot of high school, collegiate athletes, and professional athletes, helping them with basketball player development. What you're alluding to is, I worked for Jeremy Lin for 10 years, helping him train in the off season,
Mhm.
in the weight room and off the court, and spent time moving around with him from city to city, and then finished off with him in Beijing before my wife was pregnant, and we had a son. So at that point, I kind of decided to move back home to the Washington, D.C. area to start training and kind of taking all the knowledge that I accumulated the last decade or so and try to kind of pass that knowledge on to the next generation and help,
Mhm.
the next generation of ballers or players and help them the best I can.
It's nice, man. But right now, you're not in Washington. You're in Almaty.
Mm-hmm.
Just tell us what you're doing here. What you up to? Like,
Yeah, so Sydney randomly, well, he didn't. Sydney emailed me about 7 or 8 months ago, and I happened to check my spam email, where I saw your email, and at first I didn't think your camp, I didn't think it was a real invite, but I thought maybe there's a chance.
yeah, yeah.
So I remember replying to your email saying, tell me more about this camp, tell me more about your thinking, and then what you were
It was
thinking.
super short.
It
It
was
was
super
like
short,
yes.
which is why I thought it was a scam. And
My
then,
message was so long, and his response like, "Hi, tell me more about this." And
yeah,
just
and then your second response was a lot longer.
yeah, yeah.
You said who you were, what you wanted to do, what you're trying to accomplish, and so after that, we kind of got on a call and discussed it more. And I was very excited. I'm always interested in seeing new places around the world, and I've heard a lot about Kazakhstan because I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
a big boxing Triple G fan. So I would always watch as like HBO, Showtime, sports, and they would always talk about Kazakhstan. And the UFC these days have a lot of good fighters
Yeah,
from
yeah.
Kazakhstan as well. And so I thought, man, if I could get a chance to go out there and help with basketball, but also see the country, that would be such a cool opportunity.
Yes, it's like I want to say thank you to you because it means a lot to me. Especially like I was a basketball player, professional basketball player. Like my name is Sydney because of the Olympic Games in Sydney. So my grandfather was a USSR Olympic champion. So I was raised in a sport oriental family, and like I was when I was in like 1 year, 2 year, I was in the wrestle gym.
Mm.
So and for me, sport it's not like my hobby or my professional sport or something. It's like my lifestyle. So I always to dream after my career, like basketball, I want to help next generation.
Mm.
And when I was 16, 17 years old, like these kids right now on camp, I was, watching professionals like you.
Mm.
And it's a real story. I watch you, like when you had training with Jeremy Lin. It's on YouTube, and I was imagine like, wow, I want to be like this. I want to have my personal training with me. I want to go with him everywhere. So I think it was nice. But and right now, you here, and you know, like for me, it's mean a lot of because it's for the first time in Kazakhstan history, uh, like specialists like you,
Mhm.
coach like you come to our country. So I hope everything is going well for you, and we're not done yet.
No,
Like we don't not.
spasibo for having me.
Yes, не за что, не за что. Okay, so tell me please, like before you come to our country, what is your expectation? Like before and you first land, and then, like.
Well, that's not really fair because I like to do a lot of research, and so I obviously looked up Almaty before I. Is it Almaty or Almaty?
It's Almaty.
Almaty. So I definitely looked up Almaty before I
Yeah,
came.
yeah.
I Googled it, I YouTubed it. I just wanted to make sure I knew about the place before I came, but it looked like a very beautiful place. There's a place similar uh, called Vancouver, Canada, that
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
very similar with the mountains in the background. So
yeah.
it's definitely a very, very beautiful city. And yeah, really glad that I was able to come out and see it. And we're going to be going to different places after the camp is and kind of check out the local, I don't know, the local scene
Yeah,
or
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
understand the heritage or the history of this country.
Mm. Like I remember, like preparation for this camp. It was about 8 months ago. I was started, but real preparation started 2 months ago
Mm,
when I faced a lot of things. Like in the final day, I'm on the way to airport with Gigi. Hello, Gigi. And it was like for me, I tell her like I don't believe it,
mm,
because it's so much work we did with a lot of team. Like it's not only me, a lot of people support me with that. So and and Gigi knows me for 5 years,
mm,
and she said to me like, "Sid, you wanted your whole life for this moment. You
mm,
worked the whole life for this moment. Just enjoy it.
mm,
You did the hard part. So right now, it's just enjoy it and make everything from it, take everything from it. And I'm glad that I pick you
mm,
as a coach because, like, I know that you're a professionalist and you make it everything. But uh, for me, I was in shock. Our team was shocked. Leo was in shock because he didn't sleep at all. He had a huge flight to
mm,
our country, and I see he's like this. We sit at evening eating our national dishes, like not our, but пельмени, блины, котлеты.
mm,
So and you and he was with uh, his blocknot and texting, what should I do? Do this? Maybe do this. Maybe do this. And I see that you you come here not only just as work, yes, because I see that you want to help us. And I see kids right now, like they're just in shock, maybe a little bit, because they never did it before. So it like for me, it was like unbelievable experience.
mm.
So I have a lot of questions for you, but my main questions would be like in our country, basketball is not a first sport. We have the great wrestlers, boxing. Actually, our country is popular for boxing. Yes,
Mm,
once we was number one in boxing. So, but basketball right now is getting more popular.
mm,
And what you like advise us with the young generation? Like you see, I know it's only 3 days with us, but as you like as you right now that you see, what do you could advise us like with
well,
our basketball continuing like.
yeah, I mean, I think you guys have obviously shown success in wrestling and boxing as well. So I think obviously starts from the grassroots level, like the younger generation, the younger kids,
Yeah,
and it's just teaching them more about how to play the game, but also being a professional basketball player or being a professional boxer. It's a lifestyle, right? So
yeah,
it's everything. It's strength and conditioning, it's nutrition, it's how you study the game, it's how you train,
I agree with you. Yes.
the environment you create, right? So why can Dagestan create the world's best grapplers, or why can uh, Kazakhstan create the world's best boxers? Is because you guys have created an environment where you have a lot of top talent and top coaches, and there's a methodology, or they
Yeah,
find
yeah,
ways to push each other,
yeah,
even
yeah,
though the population of Kazakhstan compared to other countries in the world is not huge,
yes,
right?
yes, yeah,
So, in terms of basketball, it's creating the right systems, the right type of training, and then also bringing in, more talent, more coaches from maybe the outside, but also letting your players, go to Europe, go
yeah,
to
yeah,
the
yeah,
States, and kind of learn more
yeah,
about the
yeah,
game, right? So it's not only about creating the system, but it's also the the coaches and the trainers here also have a responsibility to learn the game, but also be able to teach the game and create that environment for the players, the younger players.
yeah. A lot of people say, like, we need to one make it first. For example, one player from Kazakhstan make it to NBA, and it will be like open our way. What do you think about it? Because right now, me, like, I don't believe that we have right now players that could be potential NBA players. But we want to start somewhere. Eh? We need to start somewhere. So, like in my mind, I want to, like, maybe in 5 years there will be 10 D1 basketball players from Kazakhstan. I think it will be a great start.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to talk about NBA because it's like next level. And I see you like right now with the way you train and how you train, how you prepare. So, and I want to give our kids this because they, a lot of them, they want everything. They want to be like champions. They want to be, but they don't know how. We have coaches right now also, so they're not responsible because it's our system. So you like show them uh, on the camp today. Like a lot of coaches, they was like all of them. They was in shock. They that's way it works. Like Oscar said to me, like, damn, this like different level because, for example, our train he also you saw he coaches like Eurostep and avoid contact, but you tell just kids don't contact, be like, yes, I think it's like different, and I want to build the system in Kazakhstan. So we start with you, and I want to continue with you because you're like a Kazakh. Look at him; he's look like Kazakh. So, and we're like, I hope we get along with
Mm.
you. So, and what do you think about like our next step? It's okay, like white paper. We start right now with you.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yes,
think it starts with the coaches and then also the trainers, right? Because the kids don't know. The kids don't know how
kids don't know
to.
how.
The kids
Yes,
don't. They don't know how it is. They've never trained. They don't know about the game. They're relying on, a coach or a trainer or a system to kind of help guide their way. Obviously, today you have the internet, right? So all the kids
yes,
are
yes,
on TikTok, on Instagram, and YouTube. So there is access to information. So
yes, yes,
it's not necessarily right, but I do think it starts from coaches and trainers understanding how to teach the game of basketball, right? Which requires them to obviously understand the game. So, today I was sharing with the other day I was sharing with the campers, all sport has those four aspects of the physical aspect, and obviously you guys might be at a slight disadvantage here. You maybe not be as tall or
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
jump as high, but there's the technical aspects of basketball, how to dribble, how to
yeah,
pass, all that, finishing, and then tactical is probably the area where you guys might be able to grow a little bit more and maybe learning more from European coaches or
yeah,
other great coaches of how to play the game, different types of styles, and
yeah,
then psychology's the psychological portion. I
yeah,
mean, if you guys are able to create the best boxers in the world, there's obviously you're able to build mental toughness or robustness and being able to deal with pressure
yes,
and
yeah.
being able to yeah, be able to thrive in pressure situations and handle the ups and downs of the game.
Okay. I will ask you a question, and like we have kid who is right now, for example, 5 years old, and he's from Kazakhstan. How to make him to NBA? Like, imagine you're a Kazakh parent, you have son, and you have money, you have everything. And so also,
Yeah, but that's like you asking me, how do we guarantee someone get into Harvard? It's like, well,
yeah, yeah,
it is a
yeah,
lottery, right? Obviously, like a lot of luck plays
yes,
into getting into the NBA or getting into Harvard. Like
yes, yes,
your draft class, how many players in that year, how many talented players you have on there is some luck involved in it. We can't just say like, we have him train here, we have him go play for this club, you can do all the right stuff, and maybe you don't fit a specific
yeah,
NBA team. So it's hard. If it was that easy, then we would just write a blueprint, and
yeah,
then
yeah.
10 years from now we would have
Everyone would,
everyone there.
yes,
But
yeah,
look at a country like China that has
yes,
so many basketball players and has been playing basketball longer than Kazakhstan.
it's great. It's a
There's
great example. Yes,
there's
yes,
there've only been maybe two or three maybe, yeah, I don't know, like I think two or three
yes, yes,
players from China
yeah,
that have made it to the NBA, and they're definitely getting more talented, and they're getting there's a lot of players going to play now in the G League and stuff, and there's a lot of China players playing D1, but you got to think it's taken a while for that. There's no, if there was an easy blueprint to that, and a lot of the China
yeah,
players are much taller. They're 6'8", 6'9", 7'1".
yes, yes,
Sochi's was taller too. Like a lot of these players are they have the physical qualities, right? So
yes,
it's not
yes,
so easy to say like, if you just follow this, like you guys can make it to the NBA, obviously.
yeah. It's for NBA. I just ask you because I want to see you. Just tell us about because I know some people from Kazakhstan, from athletes, yes, from Kazakhstan, from CIS, maybe watching this podcast, and just tell how in USA like basketball system works, like from a young age to like NBA, because uh, this system, I believe, and I know like USA, it's the capital of sports, so like its examples, but I know we can copy American style, but from all of the world athletes, they want to be
Yeah.
the D1 and everything.
So like if we look at some of the top athletes, in history, if we look at Tom Brady,
Yeah,
Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Allen Iverson, some of these players, like the first thing we notice from a young age is that we don't confine them to one
yeah,
sport.
yeah.
So Michael Jordan played baseball. Tom Brady also played another sport. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
yeah, yeah.
Allen Iverson played football. LeBron James played football. Kobe Bryant played soccer. So we want to avoid early specialization. And I know a lot of people from maybe this area might not agree with that, but that's kind of what the research shows. Like at least the top people in the world don't
Mhm.
specialize in something too early. Like you can look up uh, Roger Federer. Roger Federer didn't play started playing tennis at a later age.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
we start to over specialize in a sport too early, we don't develop all of the general qualities of athleticism that you need. So
Hmm.
at a very young age, there's obviously exceptions to this, right? For instance, Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods started playing golf when he was 3 years old
Yeah,
because his dad was a Green Beret and had a dream for Tiger Woods to be the
yeah,
best. So I'm not saying there are exceptions. And, I'm sure a lot of great boxers and wrestlers out of Kazakhstan have started wrestling at 2 years old, and that's all they did, and that's fine. But
Mm-hmm.
with basketball, since it's a very force dominant sport where you have to jump, develop, rate of speed and all that
Yeah.
stuff. Like if you start just playing basketball year round from 4 years old, that's where you see a lot
From
of
4 years old, it's okay. From
no,
no.
no. I'm saying if you do
Ah.
from like 6 years old,
Yeah.
7 years old, you're gonna have a lot of early knee injuries, lower back injuries. That's why you asked about the USA system. The US
Yes.
system, and basically kids play their whole basketball season
Mm-hmm.
and then they don't even take one day off. Their high school basketball season ends, and the very next day they're already with their AAU team, which is like their travel team, and they play
Yeah.
with them for a couple months. Then some of them might play summer league, and
Yeah.
then they basically only have the fall off,
Yeah.
and then they're back to their regular season. So if you look at a lot of our youth sports and basketball right now, there's like all-time high of like knee injuries and all those types of things. When I was
Yeah.
growing up, I don't even think I knew anybody who tore their ACL or tore the MCL
Mm-hmm.
or who needed surgery. But these days you see kids in eighth, ninth grade already having like knee surgery, knee pain, because you play year round and you play the same sport year round. So you're always
Ah.
taxing the same
Yeah.
muscles.
Yeah.
If I'm doing boxing, that's
Yeah.
more, upper body, dominant. If I'm doing boxing for 2 months and then I'm doing basketball for 2 months, I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing skiing for 2 months, the body is able to rest a little bit, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and there is diminishing returns at some point to when you're just training that same sport. Like lots of times qualities from other sports actually enhance your ability
Mm-hmm.
on the basketball
Mm-hmm.
court. So if we take like soccer, like
Yeah.
foot speed, footwork, all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
like that helps in the sport of basketball.
Yes.
If you want to play American football, doing wrestling helps. Understanding grappling,
Yes.
push pull, right?
Track and field fields.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
there are, it's important to have other things. So, if you were to ask me, the natural response that you're thinking is like, oh, we need to start. If I want to make a kid go to the NBA from Kazakhstan, I need to start him from 3 years old, and I need to send him to this camp and this
Yeah.
camp and
Yeah.
this camp. I don't, looking across the research and looking across the top athletes in every single sport, it's very rare that, you know, all they do is early specialization. Now, I will say when you get to the ages of 12, 13, 14,
No, you
when the
need. Yeah.
kids,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, of course, at
Yes.
that point, they
You need to
need they
focus.
need to
Yes.
start focusing and choosing one sport. Like
Yes. Yes.
if they're choosing three sports at the time, that they're going to be, a little bit behind. But I
No.
think the important takeaway is that every kid is unique. It's you can't just say like, we put them here, we put them to this camp. We just want to give, the kids the best chance. And so, that's going to involve positionless basketball
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
today's environment. Like you have to be able to shoot. You have to be able to dribble. You have to be able to, you got to be able to play, if you want the best chance, you have to be almost a Luka Doncic where you can do everything
Yeah. Yeah.
on the court, right? We don't want to pigeonhole you or say like you have to be a
Yeah. Yes.
four man
Yes.
or you
Yes.
have to
Yes.
be a shooter. The more things you can do, uh, the greater chance you can go play Division 1 or be a professional basketball player.
Strength condition. How is it important to if you want to become great or good in basketball or like a different sport?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's one of those categories that we talked about. It's the physical portion, right? And so uh, it's one of the things that, we can control. Although I would say in basketball, strength and conditioning is important, but it's definitely not. I wouldn't say it's like the most important. You need it for injury performance,
Yes.
obviously, to be
Yes.
able to
Yes.
jump higher, be faster. But you know, if you look at obviously Steph Curry right now lifts weights and he trains very hard, but Trey Young doesn't look like he, is very
Yeah.
impressive in the
Yeah.
weight
Yeah.
room. Uh, Steph Curry is right now he is very strong and he works very hard, and I've seen
So
that.
it's like
And,
deadlift. It's
and
like
yeah, and he deadlifts a
yes.
lot. But what I'm
Yes.
saying is when he first came into the NBA
Yes.
and was early on, he wasn't. What I'm saying is like nobody, you don't know anybody's deadlift, bench, or squat in the NBA, right?
Yeah.
Like if I ask you right now, how much does Trey Young bench press, or how much does Kevin Durant bench press, or how much is LeBron? LeBron's a big, strong person. How much does LeBron trap bar deadlift? So what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say is like weight room is definitely important to enhance
Yes.
those qualities, but there, I mean, everything is important, obviously,
Everything.
right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
if you're asking me like how do you go about it, it's just you have to first understand the demands of the sport, right? You have to understand the bioenergetics, which is means like is it aerobic sport, is it anaerobic sport, how much, what are the time motion demands of basketball. You play on 94 feet, right? And that's 94 feet. It's not enough to develop, 94 feet is not enough to develop like max speed sprinting, right? But
Yeah.
basketball is a lot of stop and go, up and
Yeah.
down,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. And you have a lot of lateral movement stuff, and you got to be able to jump, right? So it's just understand and the positions that you have to get in basketball, right? But generally, for me, my belief is like a lot of the qualities, like if you notice in our camp, like
Mm-hmm.
being basketball strong is not just the
Yes.
weight
Yes.
room exercise.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
being able to use your body, and that's why you see a lot of you know you see a lot of grappling stuff and pushing and pulling
Yes.
and
Yeah.
creating contact, because it doesn't matter how strong you are in the weight room if you can't express that strength or force on the basketball court. You're meaningless. Like you can see in the US, it's always funny, like if you go to any gym, there's always
Mm-hmm.
like a big
Big.
football
Big. Yeah.
big
Yeah.
football player who's really strong, but
Yeah.
he can't do anything to someone who's really,
Yeah.
skill.
Yeah.
So it's always skill first, right? Skill first. And obviously, when you build the skill, we don't want the body to be so behind, right? And so you
Yeah.
just want to make sure that comes along. But for me, skill is still
Number one
the
thing. Yes.
number one thing, of course, because
Yes.
strength and conditioning, that stuff can always come along, right?
Yes.
Now,
Yes. Yes.
now if it's such a weakness where you can't even do one push up, or you
Mm-hmm.
can't even do one chin up, or you can, you're trying to squat and you're like the bar is like yeah, well,
Yes.
if you're that weak, it's gonna have a hard time on the basketball court too. If someone just pushes you and you fall over like this, yeah, it
Yes.
doesn't
Yeah.
matter how skilled you are if they can just beat you up very
Yeah.
easy, unless you're like insanely skilled. But
Yeah.
so strength and conditioning is important, but I definitely think, as you guys progress, like that's something that you can pick up, fairly
We
easy.
need to base on our skill. Yes. On our basketball. If
Yeah,
you.
I mean,
Yes.
you
Yes.
got to focus on all four of those things I was telling you, which is physical, technical, tactical, and the psychological portion of
Yes.
that too.
Yes.
Because we had one player talk about today, like he feels like he does everything well at practice. He feels like he trains as hard as he can, but when he plays in it, we had a camper today ask me a question about how does he increase his confidence?
Mm-hmm.
How does when in games when he makes mistakes, he gets very negative, and then sometimes he described it as undulating up and down, up and down, and up and down. But that just shows you like he's a very skilled player. He works really hard. Physically, he might not be the most gifted player, but you can
Yeah.
have all of that. But then if your mind is not strong, then
100%.
then
Yes.
that doesn't mean anything either. So
I agree
all
with you.
four of those things have to be. Nobody really gets to the highest level without having,
All four. Yeah.
yeah, being
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
at. I mean, it doesn't. You don't need to be world class at all four, but you definitely can't have one that's like so low, right? And
Yeah. Yeah.
and you see a lot of NBA players where physically they're very gifted, technically they're very good, tactically they understand the game of basketball, but the second they feel any trials, or they have to go through any obstacles or overcome any type of hardship, like
Yeah.
they can't handle it, or they can't handle criticism or the media or the other pressures. That's something that's not talked about a lot in the NBA. Is like, for some people in the NBA, the game itself is actually very easy. It's
Yeah.
the outside stuff. It's the money.
It's money.
It's
Yeah.
the family, all the people that you've never heard of that are coming out and trying to get you. It's the media. It's social media. a lot of that
Yeah.
other extra stuff, women, cars,
Mhm.
all the other stuff sometimes, prevents players from staying in the NBA. There's a lot of traps there. I mean,
Yeah.
that applies for any sport as well.
Yeah. Yeah. But tell, I know this podcast we're watching some young guys, and tell what you has said to today to this kid, which is has problem with his mindset. I know this kid, so he's like, he's always want to hard work and everything, and he trained a lot, but when it come to game, I saw his final game in his league, and the coach give him 3 minutes in first quarter, and he is like wide open 3-pointer, and I see in his eyes he's like, and it's obviously it's miss, and then coach sub him, and he was on bench like this, or like, and second he was get him out, he was like he don't know where he is. So I agree with you about like mindset, and just tell
I mean, the
people,
human mind
yes,
doesn't change because it's basketball.
yeah, yeah,
What about Golovkin or Triple G? I'm sure he trained his mind too, right? We talked about Habib too. Like, just because we're in basketball, we're still all human beings, right? Or what
yeah,
about all the business people in Kazakhstan, or the military people here? Like, the mind is no different from them to the basketball players we talked about today. So, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I know everything about. It's like I'm not a doctor or like a sports
yeah, yeah,
psychologist or
yeah,
stuff, but the stuff have spent time, talking to other sports psychologists and trying to learn, even for myself, how to overcome, some of those mental battles. But the mind is same. It's the same as our muscles. The mind requires training, but that's something rarely. The mind is a muscle too. We need to
yeah,
we need to
yeah,
train we need to train it. So visualization, right? Spending time like before you go to the game, visualizing seeing the ball go, and visualizing what you're going to do. A lot of research has shown the power of visualizing
yes,
and
yes,
having and controlling your breathing, and how posture can affect your psychology, right? And you talked
yeah,
about him coming off the bench. It's shoulders down,
yes,
and then right there all the negative thoughts start coming in. The negative thoughts of, oh my gosh, it's the championship game, I missed a shot, coach subbed
yeah,
me out, I'm playing bad, am I going to be able to overcome? And obviously at that situation it's a little bit late because it's the final game,
yeah, yeah,
right? So how can we start training the mind earlier on in other pressure situations? If
yeah,
you notice at the end of all our practices, what have I been having the kids do at the end of every workout is shoot free throws with, you know,
it's clapping,
yeah,
yeah,
with
yeah,
clapping, with me blowing the whistle. And
yeah,
some kids, it's not, we can never really replicate,
game,
no practice or training session can ever really replicate the game
mm-hmm,
truly. The same pressure
mm-hmm,
you feel, right? It
yes,
doesn't matter if we play the Kazakhstan national anthem and we have the crowd noise in the
yes,
gym and we play it. They're gonna know it's fake, right? But if we can give, as trainers or coaches, give lower doses of this stress, if you think about taking a vaccine,
mm-hmm,
the vaccine or any type of, this vaccine is, it puts a small dose of the
yeah,
disease in your
mm-hmm,
body to help you be immune to the disease,
yeah,
hopefully, or help you against it. It's the
yeah,
same
yeah,
thing with stress. We have to inoculate stress into our training or our workouts, right? Which is like why, if you notice, like I don't have the players, or I don't encourage players, when you shoot, don't just shoot 10 shots. I make 10 shots here,
yeah, yeah,
10 shots here, 10 shots here, 10 shots here. And you heard the player talk today that we're talking about, and he's like, in practice, I never miss shots. Well, I'm like, okay, if you practice or in training, you never miss shots, then that must mean you're not pushing yourself
it's not a
to
good practice, yes, it's
to
not a good
some type
practice,
of level, or not feeling that same level of stress. And there's many ways you can do it. There's the ways that we were talking about, the ways that I've been doing at camp with the kids. You can draw up hypothetical situations at practice. You can go to your local gym or outdoor court, and every time you get a chance to shoot a game-winning shot, maybe you're playing with your friends and it's 10-10. You guys are playing to 11.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, you got to push yourself to shoot that shot. You can visualize yourself in that championship game, and maybe the emotions you'll
yes, yes,
start feeling, and that kind of stuff. You can, confidence comes in from preparation. You can't just
yes.
have blind confidence. There are some players or some people out there who don't do any of the work and they're the most confident person, right?
Yeah,
But
yes.
confidence starts with, real preparation and putting yourself in live environments. That's
Habib says the same thing. Yes,
yeah.
like you said, like because uh, he said like if you're not stressed before your fight or before your final game, it's something wrong with you. So there will be always will be stress, but you need to deal with it. Yes, and I agree about not negative thoughts, but with only with positive thoughts. I heard and I know that every like great athlete they have their own ritual before game. So tell us what is Jeremy? He has his ritual before every game, or it's just ask?
Yeah, he has a
Yes,
ritual. He takes usually I mean, I don't want to speak on behalf of Jeremy, but he has a
not
comment.
Jeremy. Okay, maybe
Yeah, I mean, he
different
he
people
takes
who
a, he
know.
takes a pregame nap. He likes to do his devotion and pray,
Yeah.
and then yeah, head to the game. But every the actual ritual is not that important
Mm-hmm.
unless your ritual is drink vodka before the game. Then you have an issue with your
Yeah,
ritual,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
The ritual is just to create um the sameness for you, a routine for you, so your body knows that you're going into a game, right?
Yes,
So,
yes. Routine. Okay.
obviously, like, each person needs to figure out what it is for them. Some people, it might be reading, listening to certain music, or
Yeah.
visualization, and that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I definitely encourage people to experiment with what works. You have to try for yourself,
Yeah.
right?
I like I had my own when I was professional basketball player. It's reading, because when you read, you like focus
Mm-hmm.
and your mind starts to like a little bit, and you in the moment, you like reading, and after that, you like in this flow, like you read, and before, like yes, because a lot of kids they want just LeBron James did this, LeBron James did this stuff in gym before game, so I will do it and I will play maybe like him. Everyone has their own, yes, and but the main reason why I ask you this because I wanna like professional athletes. Everybody thinks like athletes they like look like they strong, they confident, but I know myself like, and I heard from other pros, not only in basketball, boxing, wrestling, all of them like they go through up and downs, and sometimes they depressed, really depressed because like their whole life is depends on basketball or
Mm-hmm.
their sport, and I think it's not right, yes, because you need to find something that you like, not your hobby. Maybe you play professional basketball and you like to write something, like maybe find some hobby you will do beside basketball off the court. You agree?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
like
mean, there's a few things to unpack there. When you're talking about routine, okay. This might be just my own viewpoint or my own thought process, but if you're so reliant on a routine,
mm-hmm.
like, I have to read this book, or I have to listen to this music, or I have to eat this food, I have to smell the air at this degree, or I have to look at the sun for whatever. What happens when you can't do that?
Yes.
What happens when the book you're supposed to read before your game, you left it at home, or the music that you want to listen to is no longer there, or the
Yeah.
food, your special protein shake bar that you have is not there. So if anything I learned, like, traveling through China and with Jeremy, is like, a lot of you can do your best about it, but you can't be so reliant on a routine.
Yes,
What happens if usually you always sleep 8 hours before a
yes,
game and then you're stressed or
yeah,
you got sick? What
yes,
about Kobe Bryant when he whatever like dislocated his finger? Like was he like, oh, routine, like I always play with my right hand? No, he
yes, yeah.
did play with his left hand, right? So for me, like that, all that stuff it is important. I'm not saying it's not important, but I think people spend so much time focusing on this little 1%, 1%, 1%. And of course, when you get to the top and you've already taken care of the skill, you've already
Mm-hmm.
taken care of the tactical, the psychological, and all the other stuff. At that point, if you want to chase the 1%,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, chase it. If you want to chase the 1% in sleep, chase the 1% in diet, chase the 1% in recovery. Those are things that me and Jeremy have chased. But that's
Yeah.
because we did all the other stuff, right?
Yes,
But you're
yeah.
talking about players who haven't even spent time in training and all those things, and like they're worried about like their music choice or
They should focus
their
on other things, yes.
yeah,
Not like yeah.
that's not really important. I'm just this is from my perspective from seeing like it's very easy. People see like, oh, LeBron James used this recovery device.
Yeah.
Is it true? Oh, he spends $1 million on recovery. I need to get the same ice bath thing that LeBron
Yeah.
James has. Well, you're not LeBron James. You're not 0.001% genetic specimen, right?
Yeah.
And to your second question, yeah, I think people need to develop it's not a hobby, it's a purpose. You need
Yeah.
to have a purpose outside of your sport because guess what? One day you might tear your ACL. One
Exactly.
day you never know. One day you might get in a car accident, right? So if you're not living for something more, for some people it might be faith, some people might be God, some people it
Yeah,
might
yeah.
be family, some
Yeah.
people might be helping their community, some people I mean it changes, right? But it needs to be something greater than yourself. Like money, fame, security, all that stuff will fade, you know? If that was true, then
Something deeper, yes.
why would
Yeah.
why are there so many millionaires or so many celebrities still committing suicide
Mm-hmm.
or unhappy, right?
Mm-hmm.
If money and fame brought that to you, if success brought to you, then theoretically all the richest people and most famous people should be the most happy,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't look the most happy to me, right? So I think it's important that people have their identity in something more than just their sport
Yeah.
because one day your sport is going to end. And that's hard for an athlete to see because when you're young, you spend all your time investing in the sport, all your time training into the sport, but without seeing the other side, which is, you know, a lot of these professional athletes, their careers are over in basketball 34,
Yeah.
32,
Yeah.
33,
Yeah.
34. I mean, your career's over and you still have, average lifespan 40 to 50 years left in your life, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that it's a double-edged sword. To be really great at your sport, to be a Golovkin, to be a Habib,
Mm-hmm.
you have to put everything into it too. But
Yeah.
when it ends, it's like
Yes.
and that's why you see them do maybe become coaches and try to
Yeah.
help
Yeah.
next generation.
Yeah.
You see some people become politicians, Manny Pacquiao. You see other people get involved in their community and
Yeah.
doing stuff like that. So
Yeah. 1 year ago, even 2 years ago, I was thinking about opening my company, and there was like, it's a light for me because I was like, wow, maybe it could be my like lifetime goal to help athletes, young generation. And right now, I'm so grateful, because right now, me and you talking, it's like I live in my dream, because this talk, it's not for me. I know some kid will watch it, and maybe some different coach, maybe uh, someone will watch it and they maybe wanna come to our country. They wanna help us. I don't know. So and especially when you see the kid's Nurali kid, for me it's like it's a special kid, yes, and he's when I see him, I like I thinking about, damn, this kid is like he played basketball, he wanted to achieve something, and me like I'm a normal person, so I have no like diseases, yes, and like why I should worry about this problem, this problem. It's like, as long as I health is okay, I think everything is like possible. So in my life, a lot of support, like beside my family, a lot of people help me. And I want to ask you, who helped you besides family? Someone has advisor, or maybe your, for example, you work with Jeremy, it's okay. But someone, for Habib, he has father.
Hmm.
Like Jeremy, maybe he has you before, and but you,
Yeah, I
who
mean,
who's supporting you? Like,
uh, yeah, that's a good question. Jeremy definitely supported me, even though I'm his trainer. Obviously he's the professional athlete, so I actually did. I learned a lot from watching his discipline and how
mm-hmm,
focused he was, and how much effort and attention he put into basketball, but also his own business and
mm-hmm,
also his relationships with his friends and his family. So even though he's younger than me and I was helping him train, in many ways he influenced how I became a trainer and kind of learn to hold myself to a higher standard, right? If you see someone hold themselves to a very, very high standard in the way they carry themselves, it elevates you, right? So that's why they say iron, iron sharpens iron. So Jeremy was definitely, one of them. And then my jujitsu coach, my grappling
mm-hmm,
coach, Greg Souders, was probably in the last, couple years has been the most has had the most influence on
mm-hmm,
me in terms of how to be a coach, how to be how to design practice, how to educate players, how to take care of your athletes. At our gym in Maryland,
mm-hmm,
it's called Standard Jiu Jitsu. We have right now some of the top, nogi grapplers, in the world
mm-hmm,
at our school, and watching them how focused they are in their training, and how our practices are designed and how we train.
mm-hmm.
Like I've learned, honestly, this is funny, but or weird or sad. I don't know. You could say whatever. I've learned more about basketball through jujitsu or grappling in the last couple of years than for a long time,
Yeah,
because sometimes when you're always in your sport
uh-huh.
or you're always in your field, you begin thinking like everybody else. You begin watching what all the other top trainers do, or
Me
why does this trainer do this drill, or I have to do this drill because every trainer is doing this drill or teaching this move or
Yeah,
teaching this philosophy, or every
yeah,
NBA player is doing this exercise, right? And it becomes an echo chamber. You
you need,
begin to think
yeah, yeah,
about the same direction that everyone else is thinking, right? Or if you think about filmmaking, if you just watch like only a certain amount of YouTube channels, like you begin to think like or movies, you begin to think all movies should look this way, right?
mm-hmm.
But it's only when you're able to take steps outside of your own discipline can you begin to make different connections that maybe other people can't make, right? That's why each person is very unique, because each person brings their own wealth of experiences and backgrounds and stuff. But people who get paid the most money in the world,
Very different, yes.
they think differently,
Yes, yeah.
right? So anytime a great idea has come into existence, a Facebook or
Yeah,
Amazon
yeah, yeah.
or something, Microsoft, something that's
It was mind blowing,
disruptive,
yes.
when
Was
it first came out, people would
yes.
say that's so dumb. There's no way. When the cell phone came out, when the smartphone came out, people said no way. No, I just
That's
want
right.
something to dial, to have the internet
Yeah.
on your phone, right? So anything that comes originally is very disruptive and doesn't seem like normal, or it's a little bit outside the box. So, you know, learning a new sport for me at 35 really challenged me to understand, like, do I really know how humans
Mm-hmm.
acquire skill? As
Mm-hmm.
a coach in basketball, do I really know, is the way I'm coaching my players the most effective way? And is that how the brain works? Is that how kids learn new skills and all that kind of stuff? So for me, that was a big challenge. And obviously, like, okay, if I'm going to take on this new philosophy or way of training my basketball athletes,
Mm-hmm.
I always need to test it on myself. I don't prescribe things to my friends or my clients or my athletes that I myself haven't,
Yeah.
done myself. And so that's where, grappling or jujitsu for me taught me a lot about learning and how we should teach skill and how we should coach and how we should speak to our
Yeah.
athletes
Yeah.
and all that stuff. So, you know, I have a lot of like maybe online people who have influenced me just through their work,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And so in terms of, people who have influenced me, like, yeah, those would probably be, the main people that have influenced me,
Yeah. Because,
besides some online people that,
yeah.
I haven't named.
You speak like my grandfather. When I was 12 years old, uh, he was telling me, Sydney, you need to be different than other people. Just different. If they do this, you do different stuff. Because otherwise, you will be like everybody.
Mm.
So for me, it's like when I was 12 years old, and only right now, I see what he's gonna tell me. And like every, as you said, like every like successful people, they are just different, but they have something in common. Because you said yesterday on camp, you said like Jeremy's superpower is focus, but I think like most of the successful people is focus, and when you focus on something, like deeply focus, you're just like you want it so much, and I don't like mean about you just focus on your work and like it's, and I'm not talking about, I'm talking about if you want something, it's only you and your goal, and everything is apart, you know. You like you your day is different, yes, if you have big goal, and like I know right now we have camp, it's like for the children and everything, but me right now, even every day I learn something new from you every day, like because I see you. Even I talked to Gigi, and she said, "Was this 3 days? Like you changed?" I said, "Yes," because like Josh with me, and he's like, you like how is it making us better, like with your energy, with your like the way of training. It's affect not only basketball, children, it's everywhere. So tomorrow we're going to our BJJ class, Brazilian
Yeah.
Jiu-Jitsu. And
Check out the Kazakhstan scene.
Josh, uh, he's like shy, you know. Do Jiu-Jitsu only for 3 years and everything.
Too.
2 years, yes. But I wanna like I wanna see, I wanna to you to see our like culture, you know, every aspect besides basketball version. But I wanna
Sauna.
Sana was great, you know. But Saturday will be better. And I wanna just right now tell me for these 3 days, like what do you feel about our culture? Like
Yeah, so I do want to go back to, it's not just focus, because you can deeply focus on anything. It's one layer deeper. What deep focus allows for
mm-hmm,
is your ability to make connections other people cannot make,
mm-hmm,
right? That's why the richest or the smartest people in the world, their superpower is what focus allows for, which is problem solving. Anybody who's, like I just said, the best in the world, they've
mm-hmm,
solved a problem. For
mm-hmm,
people that don't know that that's a problem, what I mean is like the internet, the cell phone, that they solved the problem that people didn't know, they needed. Good.
mm-hmm.
They,
Yeah.
they they're world class problem solvers. defensive scheme when
Mm-hmm.
people are trying to block his shot. Like he can solve any situation, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
for me, what I was trying to say is it's not just being that's like you trying to go to Harvard and you just being different for the sake of being different just to go to Harvard.
Mm-hmm.
People can see through that. That's not meaningful difference, right? It's your ability to use your experiences from different areas and make connections that other people
Mm-hmm.
cannot make, right? And that's why, going back to what I was saying when you asked about what's maybe potentially the best way to create great athletes is not specializing in basketball, early on. Obviously they have to
Yeah.
start playing basketball, but it's what's unique about your country. What can we what how can we maximize or use the uniqueness of our country and also apply that to basketball, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like boxing is a sport of managing distance.
Yes.
It's distance management, right? Jabbing, you straight, that's all to measure distance, right? So
Yeah.
I would imagine, I've never boxed in my life seriously besides, hitting pads,
Yeah.
that, Golovkin or these boxers, they know if you and me are this far
Mm-hmm.
apart from each other, you can't hit me.
Yes.
But I know if maybe you're 1 inch, that when you extend your
It's like,
jab,
yeah,
you
yeah.
can touch my nose, and even half an inch more, you can hit me, right? So,
Yeah.
just thinking out loud, you guys are masters at managing distance. Well, guess what? Basketball is a sport of creating distance
Mm-hmm.
from your defender so
Yeah.
you can shoot, so you can finish. Obviously, like that's on an individual basis, and basketball is 5-on-5. So you need to be able to not only do that individually against my defender, but
Mm-hmm.
you need to do that 5-on-5,
Mm-hmm.
3-on-2, create advantages on the court or mismatches on
Mm-hmm.
the court, right? So we can't say that for sure, but that's what I mean by drawing a simple concept of taking from another discipline, right?
Yeah, because sorry, like when we had first call with Josh, I know he's a basketball coach, like, but he started to give me examples. For example, it's boxing. What we should do? And I think like, why are we talking about boxing? Like, then it's about BJJ and everything. But after that call, I understand that you are like, uh, you wanted. As you see right now, I understand it. So because of you have information not only from basketball, from different sports, it's help you. So like I was,
Like if you want to hit
yeah,
somebody in boxing, everybody knows there's a jab and a straight and a hook and uppercut, right?
yeah,
So if you want to beat someone or knock somebody out, you think anybody in boxing is just going to let you knock them out? You think people in boxing just yes, swing as hard as you can? No,
yeah,
they have to set it up, and
yeah.
they have to disguise their intentions. How can we take that back to basketball? Well, if everyone knows you're going to cross over or do a certain move, the move's not going to be effective, right? So you have to disguise your intention of what you want to do. You have to make the person think you're driving,
This makes
and when they
sense.
think you're
Yes.
driving, you got to cross over, right? So, you know, what I'm trying to say is like all doing other disciplines helps you think. When
Mm-hmm.
you go back to your other sport, you begin to think a little bit more critically about your sport. So
Mm-hmm.
that I just want to say that part about becoming problem solvers, and this is why, the way I've run camp so far
Yeah.
is I don't try to be very prescriptive with our athletes. You never hear me tell the players like you must do this way, you
Yeah.
must shoot this way, you must do this move. I try to help them understand principles of the
Principles. Yeah.
game,
Yeah.
and then I ask them to explore, try this, try that. But I also try to put them in the situations that they're going to see in the game and see what type of solutions they try to come up with. Or I put them purposely in a lot of different situations so they can get exposure on problem solving or trying to figure things out and starting that process of becoming an adaptable athlete or an athlete that begins thinking
Yeah. Yeah.
for themselves, right? So today, a lot of players have been coming up, and every moment there's a break. Coach, how do I struggle with this problem? Coach, this has been happening. Coach, I want to be better at this, or I struggle against this. And today, before we started our sessions, I was talking to the players and I said, hey, I don't mind if you ask me a question. Please ask me as many questions as you can. But I want you to answer your own question. I want you to provide your own answer because
Yeah, I
people need to
understand.
think deeply about their own problems, right? And we spent some time at the beginning of our session today.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, I three kids had asked me questions, and I had helped three players individually think about how they could potentially solve their problems. But I thought that would be a valuable exercise to let all the campers hear about how we would maybe start problem solving those three things so they can start applying that thought process to kind of their own problems and
Mm-hmm.
their own situations, because the reality is in the game you're always going to be encountering different problems.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe your body's starting to get slower. That's a new problem. Maybe you're playing against a team that's more athletic. That's a problem. Maybe you have an injury. That's a problem.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
you can't shoot as well anymore for some reason. Those are, maybe your coach doesn't like you. Maybe you're great at everything and your coach doesn't like you, and your coach doesn't believe in you. Your coach
Yeah,
is a hater.
yeah.
Like, what are you going to do there? I've encountered that situation before as well. Like, that's another problem. That's a problem that has nothing to do with your own work
You
ethic.
just said like you need to n- learn how to solve
You
problems.
got to
Yeah.
learn how to solve
So,
problems. So,
yeah.
back to your question. Yeah, I mean, what do I think about, what do I think about Kazakhstan? What do I think about the camp?
No, just in overall, like for these 3 days, like your maybe overall thoughts about cast and about coach. What do you
Yeah,
feel like?
the biggest thing I've noticed about Kazakhstan and the people here is how hospitable they are, how much they care for you and kind of treat you like family. There's a I can't remember the name of the movie, but this military soldier basically gets caught behind enemy lines in an Afghan village.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, the village leader says like, this guy is part of our village now, and
Mm-hmm.
then the Taliban and other people came to try to get this US soldier, but the village people all tried
Yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
treat him like, he
Mm-hmm.
was one of the villagers. And so for some reason, that was like the example that I could think of is, being here, I feel like, even though, this is literally like we've only met each other in 3 days, and, we've only talked a couple times on the phone, but, everybody has been, from our sponsors at the camp, from, you know, coaches, like everyone has been very welcoming and very kind. And, I have traveled and I have lived in a lot of cities. I've probably lived in 8 cities. I've lived throughout the United States. I've traveled throughout Asia. I've traveled
Mm-hmm.
through Europe. And so this is definitely in terms of, how kind people are. It's definitely probably top one or two. And then Sana is definitely one so far in
Yeah,
my book. So yeah, that's been the experience. Obviously, like we've been very busy with camp
yeah,
every
yeah.
day, ending around 5 or 6, and I'm still getting over jet lag, so I haven't been able to experience the full culture of Kazakhstan. But we've had horse cheek and,
Her cheek is.
and other Russian dishes.
Yeah.
Um, that all have been great and stuff. So
I know it's really hard for you. Even me and Leo, like we we was like today where we are like, and I look at you and yeah, let's do this drill, like, and he was energized. But after I see he always like sleep in the car.
you got to put it all out there. If we want our
Yeah.
athletes to put it all out there as coaches, like we have to be even more willing to. How can I ask for my players to be focused or be disciplined or
If you
have attention if I'm la da da, like just not paying attention, not caring, not
yes.
doing my thing, right? So, if you want to be great at anything, it does. If you want to be a great janitor, if you want to be a great restaurant owner, like you gotta care deeply about your stuff. You have to be passionate about it and do it to the best of your ability. It literally does not matter what you do. If you want to
Yeah.
be great at anything, that's what it
Yes,
takes.
and we see difference between you and our coaches right now. Like you have a everyone like two people say to me, like, they don't meet you like this way, but on the side they saw you, and they said to me, his energy is different, like, because you was so into this process. Uh, I hope, Josh, we will make something together in the future, and I want to say thank you once again that you're here, helping us, and tomorrow I will be sorry for someone choke you, so it's like it's not me, but it's our part of hospitality.
Yeah, for sure.
You need to like, and no, it's our first podcast,
Mm.
so
Spasibo for having me as a guest.
yes, it's like for me it's a special one. I don't know how it was, but we'll, I was trying my best, and especially English. It's not my first language.
It's okay.
Yes, I hope it's everything okay. So, we will upload some videos about this camp on YouTube, and I think it's beginning of something like big.
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure. Thank you for having me.
You want to say something? Last word.
Um,
Imagine someone. Imagine, you know what? Imagine someone, or even we, like, this video will be on YouTube,
mhm,
and 30 years in the future,
mhm.
you will be old guy, me too, and we will watch this, like, and
Yeah, I mean,
what do you,
I'm just glad I took, a chance, right? So sometimes, when these opportunities, once in a lifetime opportunities happen, you have to take a chance, and
mm,
30 years from now, I'm gonna look back on this moment and be very happy that I'm really glad I opened my spam email that day.
I was in spam. I was in spam.
Well, because yeah, because unknown sender to my work email address, it just went to spam. It's like I saw it.
It's re-
Also like your name is like 50 letters, right? Like Sydney.
yeah, I need to change
So
it.
people, it came through, and
Yes, yes.
I originally wasn't going to reply, but I said, hey, take a chance. Let's see what happened. And obviously I have a 2-year-old son, and I have a business at home, and spending 10 days is a cost on my players that I'm training right now and my family and stuff. But again, it's one of those things where I told my wife, like, hey, when am I going to get a chance to go fly to Kazakhstan and train kids? Like, maybe never.
Yes.
And so I was like, I have to say yes to this. And I just kind of follow my gut, follow my intuition. So I'm really happy that I took this chance. I'm really happy it was you and not somebody else, and that it worked out. So yeah, thank you for having me.
Спасибо.
Cut.